It is that time again. My favorite time of the week, call-in shows. Now let's see if YouTube does what they're supposed to do and tell everybody, hey, Golden Blue Dude's live. Do my part. I would greatly appreciate it if YouTube did their part as well. Very excited. I have a West Virginia football legend calling into the show next Wednesday night. Eugene Napoleon. He was the running back for the 1988 undefeated West Virginia team that went to the national championship, lost to Notre Dame, but only because Major Harris got hurt in the first quarter. We all know West Virginia would have won their only national championship in 1988 had Major Harris not gotten injured. Now here's the thing, and I've tried to explain this to people over and over. We don't like having the stigma of the best university, football related, to never have won a national championship. We don't want that stigma. The problem with West Virginia, though, is we don't get there enough to give ourselves enough chances to win a national championship. So for West Virginia, it's all or nothing on those magical seasons. So we have to get there more consistently so we have more chances to actually win a national championship. West Virginia has had some great teams. 88, 93, 07, 07, 08, 06, 09. All those were pretty good teams, but you have to get there more to give yourself chances. You have to get there more to give yourself more chances to win a national championship. So, yeah. A lot of West Virginia fans are freaking out right now, too, because, well, we're 2-4, and we have some players entering the transfer portal. I'm not freaking out, though, because you only want the people that are dedicated to the program, and those will be the guys that stay. So, you know, snowflakes, they're going to come and go. You want guys that are committed to the program to stick around, and, you know, that's why I'm not going to worry about it. But West Virginia fans are freaking out. Asking for him to be fired, that's dumb, guys. Dumb. And I'm not saying we're not struggling right now, and I expected more. I fully admit West Virginia is struggling right now. But if we fire Neil Brown, we'll set our program back 5 years. We have a great incoming recruiting class. This is only his 3rd year as the head coach, and last year was a COVID year. So in his 2nd season, he had to go through a COVID year. I would give somebody a pass on that. And normally for somebody to actually build something, you have to give them at least 5 years. 4 at minimum. So no, now is not the time to fire him. I hope y'all enjoyed my video earlier of all the teams that didn't surprise me so far at this point in the season. Tomorrow, I'm going to make a video on the teams that I dead wrong about. And there's a lot of them out there. This has been a crazy season, so hopefully that comes out nice. I think it will. Y'all might enjoy that one better than today's, because one thing that I figured out about YouTube is people like it when you mess up and make mistakes more and do videos about that than your successes. So I think tomorrow's video is going to be a good video, and y'all will enjoy that. Once again, it's been a hectic day, so I'm going to have to eat during the show again. I know that's not professional. I understand that, but you got to eat whenever you can eat, so I do the best I can. On Monday, we fixed our 4th flat tire in a month. 4 flat tires. Y'all remember that video where I had 2 flat tires in one day? Well, I've had 2 since. 4 in a month. That's a record for me. That's probably a record for anybody. Let me go grab the call-in phone real quick. Give me 1 second. Forgot and left it over there. I'll be right back, though. I'm back. You can ask my sponsor. For whatever reason, I am one of the most absent-minded people you can think of. You would think that me having a live show every Wednesday and every Saturday, I would have everything in order, ready to go. I'm never ready. I don't know why. And I know it's coming, and I know what I need, and I'm still never ready. It's one thing or the other. So, it is what it is. Alright, let's see who we got. By the way, quick update. Very excited. Actual internet coming. So, I won't have to use my phone anymore. Laptop, graphics, better camera angle, all that stuff. Super happy about that. Should be within a month. So, somehow, this show has been growing with just a phone because of you guys. You guys have impressed me. Y'all have grown this channel, and all we've been using is a freaking phone. Amazing stuff, guys. Amazing stuff. Real quick, also, do me a quick favor. Hit the like button. It's not to, pat me on the back, stroke my ego, whatever. It's just to hit that YouTube algorithm, get it suggested more, get more people in here, and get more fan bases talking, trash talk. I encourage trash talking. I love it. So let's get more people in here, more trash talk, more back and forth. Love it. Alright, so who do we have in the chat, by the way? Joey Foster. That's the guy right there. Whenever a great guest calls in, it's because of him. He's the one that hooks me up. So, another great guest coming on next Wednesday, Eugene Napoleon. All-time great running back from West Virginia. Part of the 1988 undefeated West Virginia team. And his better half, Yvette, is here. Talk is Pitt. See, I even get along with Pitt fans. Most Pitt fans. John Waffle, that's a different story. Talk is Pitt even apologized for that guy. He freaking reported me to YouTube because he disagreed with my take on West Virginia to the ACC. If you don't believe me, that's fine. If you disagree with me, that's fine. But reporting me to YouTube because of that, that's crossed the line. Anyways, Dylan Vance. Haven't seen you in a while, bud. Thank you for stopping by. Christian, am I pronouncing that right? Is it Cape? Capey? It looks like Cape. Sports World PA. He actually has a good channel. Y'all should go check him out sometimes. Xdrang 93. You're in the house. Tyler 2 Chains. Love that. Love that. What was that show? I think it was the Ellen show. Like, I don't know if she still has the DJ. 2 Chains was on there. Love that name. Gary Lewis, Lucas Sharp, John Kelly. All right. This one's a tough one to pronounce. Zagnif Productions, Zagnif 1. Hopefully, I didn't butcher that up. Did I already say Gary Lewis? Yeah, I did. Let's see. Tennille K. Calvino, a.k.a. TKC. That's how I gotta call you, TKC. Lucas Sharp. Did I miss anybody? No Name in the house. What's up, No Name? Big Ounce. Pastor Aaron Timberlake. That's a new name. I haven't seen that name. Welcome aboard. The Sports Nerd. I expect you to call in this evening, sir. Todd Cortez. Did I miss anybody? Nope. Maddie Sims in the house. I think we're good. I think I'm all cut up. Hey, if I missed you, I apologize. Leave another comment and I'll try to shout you out. Try to give everybody credit because you guys are the show. I'm just the voice and the face. That's it. Grumpy Grandpa Patriot Show. Good supporter right there. If you like the channel and you want to support it a little bit financially because it does take money, and my ultimate goal is to do this full time. Believe it or not, I'm still not doing it full time yet. Not making enough money. We're getting there. We're getting there. But any contribution helps. So super chat option, PayPal option. PayPal, the channel gets 100%. Now on super chat, of course, YouTube takes a percentage. But either way, any little bit helps. I'm about to do a major studio upgrade. We're going to get some new lights. Of course, internet, better camera, good graphics. And it does take money. So any little bit does help. And I would appreciate it. All right. Let's see what people are saying. I saw a prediction question here. Let me try to find it again. Okay, Tyler 2 Chains. What's your score prediction on the Utah versus Arizona State game? Well, hold on one second, because where it's played matters. Caught me off guard on that one, but that's okay. No problem. I didn't have one off the top of my head, in case you're wondering. I'm literally looking at my phone, so just give me 1 second. I hate this other phone. It takes freaking forever. All right, so let me see here. Let's go, phone. Come on, you can do it. Sure, somebody will tell me. If anybody already knows, feel free to tell me. Arizona State, Utah, where? I'm trying to look it up because I don't know off the top of my head. All right, here we go. Hit Utah. Utah has disappointed me, by the way. That one's going to be at Arizona State. All right, so I'm going to take... No, that's at Utah. You're right. It's at home. Utah's tough to beat at home. They're really, really tough. I think Arizona State is capable of beating them. I'm going to take Utah in the upset. I'm going to go... and they looked really good against USC. USC is trash. We know that. I'm going to take Utah 38-31. Double O'Neal, what's up, bud? Thank you for stopping by. Yeah, I'm going to take Utah 38-31 in that one. How does Alabama lose to a backup quarterback? You know, the crazy thing is I actually predicted Texas A&M to beat Alabama in my preseason prediction, but I expected Texas A&M to look good. They've looked bad, and they still beat Alabama. I don't know. I don't know. Turnovers. I think they had 5 turnovers, so that's part of the equation. John Doe is in the house. Gary Lewis, then they ran into juggernauts called Tony Rice and Lou Holtz. Talking about 88. Utah by 3. I'm taking Utah by a touchdown, actually. Clint W's in the house. I'm seeing a Spencer Rattler thread here. Let me... Yeah, I think Skip Bayless. I missed you. Spencer Rattler is terrible. Something is not right with him. Last year he started off rough, but he got better throughout the season. This year, started off bad, stayed bad. Now Caleb Williams is starting quarterback at Oklahoma. Back to the 1988 team. Well, of course, Notre Dame was a good team. They were number 1. It was a national championship, but Major Harris, like literally the entire offense of West Virginia, went down in the first quarter. So we don't know truly what would happen had he not went down. It would definitely have been a closer game because I think the final score was like 34-17, something like that. D4 Sports in the house. Baylor Man in the house. I'm trying to keep up with y'all guys. Cam Harrison, he says Arizona State looks good though. Should be a good game. I take Arizona State to win. It wouldn't surprise me if Arizona State won, but I'm going to take the upset in there. Tomorrow I'll put out my spread picks as well. I'll try to get it out tomorrow or Friday. That'll be in there. So there's a sneak peek. That Clemson versus Syracuse game is a hard one to pick. Definitely. Syracuse beat them in the Dome when Clemson was good. Clemson's not good this year. Wouldn't surprise me. And Syracuse is always due for an upset in the Dome. They couldn't do it against Wake Forest. Major props to Wake Forest for going into the Dome and beating Syracuse because that's what Syracuse does. They upset people in the Dome. So getting out of there with the win, that's a big time accomplishment. Upset of the week. Good question. You know what? I was planning on doing my spread picks tomorrow. But you know what? By the way, last week I did do better, but still not up to my standards. Above 500, 10-8. That's better than 7-11. That was horrible. I was doing great, actually. I was up to 67%, and then that 7-11 from this past week dropped me down to 53%. I think I'm now at 55%, so we'll get back up there. John Doe says, Baylor Man Brewer really fell off. I blame all those concussions, though. Yeah, exactly. All right, let me look through these real quick. Cal's not upsetting Oregon. I would say UCF could upset Cincinnati, but it's at Cincinnati. That's not happening. Indiana over Michigan State? Can't. I don't know about that one. Number 12, Oklahoma State at number 25, Texas. That one's doable. I would feel much better about that one if it was in Stillwater, though. Auburn at number 17, Arkansas. Arkansas is on a 2-game losing streak. Auburn could go in there and upset them. I don't know. Can't go with Kentucky over Georgia. Georgia's just... I'm trying to pick one that looks doable, but still totally surprising. And by the way, the line on that Arizona State-Utah game is even. Like, there's no favorite right now. So, it's actually not an upset right now. I'm still taking Utah. Ooh, Ole Miss is only a 2.5-point favorite over Tennessee. Tennessee is starting to get some respect. Dadgummit. What about number 5, Alabama at Mississippi State? I don't know, man. I don't know. That one's tough. Number 19, BYU at Baylor. Baylor's actually a 6.5-point favorite. Man, this is a good one this week. You know what? I'm going to take off the cuff without doing any research. It's much tougher to do this without any research. I'm going to take LSU, an 11.5-point favorite, over number 20, Florida. There's my upset special of the week. I'm taking LSU. It is in Death Valley, Tiger Stadium. So that's the one. That's the big upset I'm taking. LSU over Florida. 11.5-point favorite. Yep. I like it. It's a big upset, but still doable. I can't believe Michigan State's only a 4.5-point favorite over Indiana. They're giving Indiana a lot of respect. And I actually thought about picking that upset, but I can't do it. Indiana has looked terrible. And then Tennessee over Ole Miss. That wouldn't be a bad one. I want to take LSU over Florida. That's my upset pick of the week. Good questions off the cuff. Trying to catch me off guard, and it did catch me off guard. But you know what? I'll take it. I need to start eating my pizza, by the way. How was everybody's week this week? Let's see. Double O'Neill says 40,000 fans times $50 a ticket is a $2 million payday. That is correct. Good math. Who is my Heisman front runners now halfway through the season? That's a good question right there. Dadgummit. That one I might actually have to do some research on. Because with Georgia, it's the entire team. I mean, they got studs everywhere. Who do you pick out? It's crazy. You know what? I would actually think about putting Sean Clifford on there. He's having an amazing season, and whenever he went down, that's when Iowa came back and beat Penn State. That's MVP type of value right there. Kenny Pickett, maybe a dark horse. Desmond Ridder, definitely, of course, leading Cincinnati on a tear right now. Caleb Williams. How about that, Caleb Williams? Yeah, in one game. I'm telling you, the dude, he looks really good. They were down 28-14, I believe, whenever they brought him in. Looked like a completely different team. Let me think real quick, guys. It's a good question. There's not really a lot of, big-time household names like there was last year. Last year, there was, my goodness. I mean, even on the lesser teams like Shane Buechele from SMU, I don't know if he's still there. I don't think he is. If he is, I would put him in the mix. Last year was loaded. Zach Wilson from BYU, Kyle Trask from Florida. Bunch of names last year. Tuckus Pitt says, I'm the front runner for the Slob Olympics Heisman. You know what? I haven't seen your stuff, man. You weren't there last year, so Travis Garnett says, no, he's not. I'm guessing you're talking about Shane Buechele. But yeah, I didn't think he was, but never know. Jeff Webster says, Heisman is wide open right now. A real crapshoot. Actually kind of refreshing. Yeah, I mean, I agree. Crypt Keeper, yes. Tombstone Pizza is the only frozen pizza that I eat. If I ever get a big-time sponsor, it's either going to be Pepsi or Tombstone Pizza. For real. Hogerson and the Cougars have lost one game this year. Yeah, that's true. Will Levi, the quarterback at Kentucky. That's a good one. Let's see. T-Duck says, I got diagnosed with COVID at the hospital, but 2 tests were negative. Yeah. That's weird. Jeff Webster says, you are in luck. If I am not mistaken, PepsiCo owns Tombstone. You are actually correct about that. I did not think about that. That would be an awesome thing. Sweet. And the funny thing is, I actually used to work for Pepsi, not pizza, Pepsi. I worked for Pepsi for 4 years in my early 20s. Loved that job. One of my favorite jobs. Other than this is my favorite job. Although I don't consider it a job. I love doing it. If you love what you're doing and making money, it's not a job. Can't go full-time yet. Not making enough to go full-time yet. But we're getting there, guys. We're getting there. We went from... Let's see. We went from 1,000 subscribers in May to 4,000 subscribers in October. That's amazing. All because of you guys. And I appreciate it. WVU, Baylor Man says WVU ought to start Green at quarterback from now on. I was quite impressed watching him this past Saturday. And the reason I would start Garrett Green over Jarrett Doege at West Virginia is because of the offensive line. Garrett Green is not a better quarterback than Jarrett Doege. That's not the issue. The issue is our offensive line. Terrible offensive line. And Jarrett Doege doesn't have the legs to get out of those situations. He needs that 3 to 4 seconds to get that pass out of his hand. Now, for Garrett Green, he can turn broken plays and turn it into a 5-yard gain. That's why we need Garrett Green. Turn it into... turn our offense into an RPO offense. That's what we need right there. RPO. With that terrible offensive line. By the way, quick reminder, the contest for the $50... Let me word this correctly. Let me think this through. Hold on. I don't want to mess this up. Hold up. All right. I think I got it. So Jeff Grimm has sponsored a contest. The winner will get a prize worth up to $50 from tristatewhisketch.com. Speaking of which, this is the type of stuff he does. He does family photos. I'm going to try to... That. This probably right here would be a $20 thing, so you can get a couple of these. This right here, probably $25. This right here is on a freaking chopped log, so this would be your $50. Something like that. You can get family photo, and if you're arrogant, you can get a self photo. You can get team stuff. He does team stuff. I'm explaining the prize. So the contest is a super chat of $5 or more gets you entered, and I will write your name on a piece of paper. The more super chats you do, the more times I write down your name, and the winner gets, you get to go to tristatewhisketch.com and tell them what you want. Whatever that adds up to $50. You can get one big thing or a bunch of little things that add up to $50. So a super chat of $5 or more gets you entered, and a nice prize. And you know what? I'm going to throw something in there too. I got this. Hold on. What did I do with that? I don't want my hoodie in there. Might be in here. I'm still here. Hold on. So this will be my contribution to the contest. All right, $5 super chat gets you entered. Whoever wins gets $50. Whatever you want from tristatewoodssketch.com. You can get a bunch of little things or a big thing. And I'm throwing this in. Winner gets the first ever available to the public gold and blue dude hoodie. I don't have the merch shop set up, so I can't sell them right this second. But the winner of the contest gets a gold and blue dude hoodie, and you will be the first to receive one, besides myself. So how about that? $5 super chat gets you entered. You'll win $50 worth of prizes on Tri-State Wood Sketch, and of course, the gold and blue dude hoodie. So there you go. Bubbles McKenzie in the house. Appreciate you stopping by. All right, so now phone lines officially open, guys. Phone lines officially open. You can call in. If you want to call in and you don't have the number, all you have to do is email me. Joey's going to put in the email. All you do is email who you are and what number you're calling from, and then Joey will email you back the call-in number to the show. So if you want to call in, all you have to do is email us, and we will send the call-in number back to you. So, but those of you that already have it, you can call in, and we'll let you go 15 minutes today. 15-minute call-ins. I'll try to get in as many people as possible. So y'all call in whenever you want to now. And I'm still gonna eat my pizza, guys. I'm hungry, and this is when I can eat. I can't wait until I get my internet. I won't have to touch the screen and scroll through the comments like this. I hate this. I hate doing this. Do I only talk football, or do I do basketball too? I do basketball too. Whenever basketball season starts rolling around, I do basketball too. I do the whole March Madness thing. This past March Madness, I actually did a live show filling out my brackets, so it wasn't pretty. My brackets got busted fairly early. You're on with Golden Blue, dude.
Hey.
What's going on, bud?
What's going on? Well, my season started really bad.
You talking about Memphis?
Yep.
Yeah, I had high expectations, but not anymore.
It's the coaching staff, man.
So what area of the team are y'all weakest on right now? Is it offense, defense, everything?
I feel like last 3 quarters it's offense, and first quarter, like probably all 4 quarters defense, to be honest. It's mostly coaching though, because we just let our foot off the pedal, and then it just goes downhill. Every game this season we've been up in the first quarter. After the end.
Didn't y'all play, who was it, UTSA? Was that who you played?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw Memphis was up there for a while, and that turned out to be a shootout. I thought Memphis was going to give them their first loss there for a minute.
Well, after 2 fumbles, it ain't gonna help.
I know the feeling.
And then I wasn't even shocked by the Texas A&M game, to be honest. That's
I was super shocked.
What?
I was super shocked.
I wasn't at all. I actually picked Texas A&M to win that. And I got that one right.
Well, I picked A&M to win at the beginning of the season, but then, I saw that they had no offense, and then all of a sudden they come out against Alabama and actually have offense. Where did that come from?
They lost their quarterback for the, second to fourth game, I'm pretty sure. And that's where they picked up their 2 losses. But no one saw that, apparently, during the Colorado game.
Yeah, even in the Colorado game, I mean, they only scored 10 points. It was... I mean, they got a good defense. They have a pretty good defense, but their offense couldn't run the ball or pass the ball. So, whatever they did against Alabama, they need to keep doing it. Plus, Alabama committed, I think it was 5 turnovers.
And why... Some people are thinking that, I think it's Scott Frost at Nebraska. They all say he's going to get fired. He's done better this season than all of his seasons. There.
I agree with that.
He's been tight every game.
The numbskulls at ESPN have him as, I don't know what number, but he's in the top 10 as far as hot seat goes. And now they have Neil Brown in the top 10 hot seat. They're idiots. They have no idea how to judge when somebody's on the hot seat. And every time they put out a list like that, usually somebody gets fired that wasn't even on their radar. So I always take that with a grain of salt because they really don't know what they're talking about whenever they put those lists. I do agree that Manny Diaz is on the hot seat, though. Miami is a train wreck.
Yeah.
Now, I know it's only his 3rd year at Miami, but he has a lot of talent. I mean, he has way too much talent for Miami to be doing as bad as they are. Now, West Virginia, okay, I've tried to explain this, but West Virginia fans don't understand this, okay? So, we're 2-4. That sucks. That's bad. And, the fans are like, well, we're regressing. The problem is, last year, West Virginia overachieved with that 5-4 record. So going into this year, our expectations, including myself, was through the roof. Thinking 8-4 at minimum, maybe 9-3, possibly 10-2. We don't have the talent for that. Our record matches the talent that we have. Now, I'm thinking more like 3-3 because we shouldn't have lost to Texas Tech. That's the one we shouldn't have lost. But all those other losses, yeah, I can agree with that. The other team was more talented than West Virginia. Stop talking about firing Neil Brown. That would be the dumbest thing in the world that West Virginia could do right now. That would set us back another 5 years. We have a great recruiting class that he's responsible coming in next year. So, it's pure nonsense. Hey, give me 1 second. Hold on. For whatever reason, the camera stand started leaning up against the table, and it was shaking every time I moved, and it was getting on my nerves. Anyways, but yeah.
And then Cincy will probably blow out SMU. SMU chance.
I don't think they'll blow them out, but it'll be a convincing win. I'm thinking 2 or 3 touchdowns, something like that. Now, when I think blowout, I'm thinking like 30 points or more. That to me, 30 points or more, that's a blowout. So, a convincing 3-touchdown win, yes. Blowout, no. SMU is a good team.
Yeah. Ooh. You will answer my question next week. So, there's one thing. Do you think that TCU is more talented than West Virginia?
Oh yes, yeah. It's not even close. They have a better quarterback. Uh, Defensive line, we might have a better defensive line than TCU, but they have better linebackers, better secondary, much better offensive line. Running back, about the same. We might have better wide receivers, but overall, TCU has a lot more talent than West Virginia right now.
So let's just say like y'all beat them by like 15. Would that look bad on SMU considering they only beat them by like 6 or something?
No, because I think that was on the road for SMU as well. If West Virginia were to somehow beat TCU on the road by 15, number one, that would be a miracle. But it wouldn't make SMU look bad. We do have a bye week to get things together, and that does help. So if for whatever reason a miracle happens and we do upset them by 2 touchdowns, I would credit that to the bye week. But at this point, I don't see that happening.
Now, could TCU could a team finally beat Oklahoma? Would it be TCU?
No. The 2 teams that I say have a chance of beating Oklahoma would be that road game to Baylor, and then the last game of the year, the road game to Oklahoma State.
Yeah.
Those are the 2 games that I would put Oklahoma on upset alert. The TCU game is at Oklahoma, so I don't see TCU going in there and upsetting them.
What was in our rankings this week?
Definitely not Iowa State. They've come off the rails.
Yeah.
I don't even know what happened with Iowa State. I mean, they still have Brock Purdy. They still have Breece Hall. The offensive line came back mostly intact. 3/4 of the defense is back. I don't know.
I think like some teams just fall out because after like a really good year, they stay in the rankings. So there's just that one team that just falls, like LSU last year. And
well, LSU lost a crap ton of talent from 2019, and Ed Orgeron is a bum of a coach. He just happened to catch lightning in the bottle, and we're seeing that. Like he's not consistent as a head coach. Iowa State actually has a good coach, Matt Campbell. So I can't figure it out. I don't know what their problem is right now.
And oh, never mind. Oh, that's that. Well, basically, I don't know how Notre Dame is still ranked, but we're gonna go with that. And to be honest, Florida shouldn't be ranked. Texas definitely shouldn't be ranked. And who's the other one? Oh, Alabama shouldn't be ranked. My bad.
Alabama?
Yeah.
Why is that?
So, let's think about this for a second. So, first off, they have a bust defense. Let's just think about this. They allow 29 to Florida. Let's think about this. Florida does not have a better offense than Ole Miss. They allow 21 to Ole Miss. That's less than Florida. Also, they only allowed 13 to Miami, but we're not going to talk about that game because that was a smoker. And then we look at Texas A&M versus Alabama. It's 41. That is too much. And the fact that if Texas A&M scores 9 more points, they score as many as Ole Miss and Florida combined. And the winning field goal was awesome, but...
Yeah, I agree with all that. Alabama definitely doesn't have as good of a defense as they did last year. And I predicted Alabama was going to take a step back this year. I saw this coming, but they're still a top 25 team. They only have 1 loss. They've beaten some good teams. They beat Ole Miss by 3 touchdowns. So to say Alabama shouldn't be ranked, that's a bit of a stretch. They're definitely still a solid top 10 team.
Well, basically, they lost to Memphis. So,
well, transference doesn't exist in football. I wish it did because then West Virginia could say they beat this team. it would be a mess though. But I see what you're saying. But they're definitely a top 10 team. They could miss the playoffs though. I will say that it's not a stretch to say that Alabama could miss the playoffs, but not a top 25 team. They'd have to lose at least 2 more games for that to happen. And you know what? Clemson got knocked out of the top 25. I never thought I'd say that this year after 2 losses. So never say never. But as of right now, I would say Alabama's still a top 25 team. Hey, I appreciate the call as usual. Good stuff. I actually like that jab at Alabama. Good jab right there. Good stuff, man.
And one more thing. No one's recognized it, but I know it's early, but Tennessee's beating Florida in the race to the freaking championship game. I've never said that in a million years. So.
You might be right about that. Tennessee finishing second. It could be between Tennessee and Kentucky. I could actually agree with that. Tennessee's looking really, really good right now, and Florida is not. But I did say at the beginning of the season, and I was called crazy for this, I predicted Kentucky to finish second in the SEC East, and I predicted Florida to finish fourth. Now, what I didn't see coming was Tennessee. I had Missouri finishing third, and Tennessee finishing sixth, I think, behind South Carolina. No, it might have been fifth, above South Carolina. Anyways, that third spot is the one that I got wrong. So I could see 1 Georgia, 2 Kentucky, 3 Tennessee, and 4 Florida. So I would be only 1 off on that. So I'm pretty excited to see how the SEC East is going, because that's basically how I predicted that. So, and I was called crazy, and I just had this feeling because Kentucky has all this talent. They get this great transfer from Penn State. They are well coached. They get most of their tough games at home, except for the road trip to Georgia. It just looked like things were setting up for Kentucky. Complete opposite for Florida. So, you don't know if it's going to happen or not until they start playing the games, though. So, by the way, phone lines are open to anybody that wants to call in. I see you guys in the chat that usually call in. Jeff Webster, Sports Nerd, all you guys, more than welcome to call. And I expect the Sports Nerd to call in. He never lets me down. Speaking of Jeff Webster, he saw me. He heard me call him out, so he had to call in. You answered the bell, my friend.
I was waiting to call. I couldn't let the go unanswered here. Hey, kid, you have a reading assignment to get to. Leave the football talk to somebody who knows what they're talking about.
Yeah, he was throwing Hail Mary jabs right there.
Yeah, that's all right, though. I appreciate it. I remember when I was that age and I didn't like teams.
Exactly. Yep. It was actually, you know what, as crazy as it was, and it was crazy, he did it in a smart way. I got to give him credit for that. The way he did it, the execution was an A+. I will give him that.
Yeah, he went about it all right. But you know, he got a little excited when he got talking about Alabama not being top 25.
I just like how he explained his rationalization for it. He actually explained, instead of just talking trash, he actually explained his rationalization for it. That was impressive. I was impressed about that. It didn't make much sense, but at least he was explaining himself.
Right. Well, I don't know where this Neil Brown hate's coming from. He's doing all right. He just needs a little more time.
2 games, losing to Texas Tech and getting blown out by Baylor. That's what started all this crap. Losing 2 games.
Well, people got to understand. You bring a new coach in, he's got to have at least 3 years, at least. No matter how bad it gets, you got to. In other words, if you're mad at your coach after 1 year, then you're saying that the people who hired your coach, they need to be fired too, because they're obviously idiots if they didn't know what they were doing and they brought this bum in. That's what you're saying. If you're after your coach after a year, he's got to have time. It takes time to install a system. Don't forget last year there was no spring practice.
That's exactly what I was about to say. Like they even forgot that this is not even his third full season. Last year was a COVID year. We only played 9 games.
Overreacting is a part of the fun of college football. Everybody wants to, people panicked when Ohio State lost to Oregon. Look at Ohio State now. You want to play Ohio State right now?
Nope.
I don't.
Nope.
People laughing at Alabama. They lost to Texas A&M. Well, really? You want to play Alabama? You want Alabama to come to your team stadium tomorrow? No, you don't. No, you don't.
Except for Georgia.
Unless you're Georgia. If you're Georgia, you might.
Yeah.
If you're anybody but Georgia, no, you don't want none of that. And I'm not here to turn this into an Alabama call. That's not why I'm calling. I wasn't calling about the Tide, but just to remind everyone, 2011, 2012, 2015, 2017. How'd those one-loss Alabama teams do? Thank you.
Yep. And that's why I said you can't knock a team out of the top 25 for one loss. That's insane.
Yeah,
it did surprise me that they lost to Texas A&M, though. I'm not going to lie. It did surprise me.
Yes, it surprised me, too. Although I was saying, as people who have heard me know, I was saying that all along. They would get to Atlanta, but they would get to Atlanta with a loss. I just blew where the loss was.
Right.
I thought the loss was going to be a distracted, not paying attention Alabama team losing at Auburn in Week 12. That's where I thought it was going to be.
That's a good pick right there.
Now you've got a still very talented team playing scared, and that's a dangerous animal.
I agree with that.
But no doubt they're not the team they were last year. I mean, duh, anybody can see that. I mean, that's not a brilliant piece of deduction. You lost the Outland Trophy winner and the Remington winner from your offensive line. You lost the Heisman Trophy winner and 2 of the dudes that finished between 2nd and 5 in the Heisman Trophy, all off of your offense. Think you might go down a little bit? Yeah.
Well, I think they did the math. Alabama lost like 82% of their offensive production from last year. 82%.
Yeah. But hey, GBD, the reason why I was calling, and the main thing I wanted to say is, man, I was in the most amazing atmosphere, the craziest non-SEC atmosphere I've ever been in Saturday. I was blessed to be on the sidelines shooting the Penn State-Iowa game. It was absolutely phenomenal. Me and the other dudes in the end zone were having to practically yell at each other to be heard. That's how loud it was at Kinnick.
Kinnick is one of those, they're right up there with West Virginia as an underrated loud stadium. I would put them, whenever Iowa's good and they're playing somebody good, I would put them in the top 5 as far as the loudest stadium in the nation.
Yeah, the deal with Kinnick is the way the actual physical architecture of the stadium, even though it's not a dome, it's open air, of course.
Right.
But the architecture of the stadium helps trap the sound. The sound doesn't have anywhere to go.
Right.
And if you watch an Iowa home game, next time you're watching an Iowa home game, I encourage the listeners to do this. Pay attention to the end zones and the team benches. The stands are right behind them.
It's kind of like Oklahoma State.
There's no room.
Have you ever been to Stillwater?
The stands are literally right on top of you.
Have you ever been to Stillwater? Same situation there.
Yes.
But with Iowa, the difference is, if you look at Iowa and other stadiums, I'll even compare Iowa Stadium to West Virginia Stadium. All right, so West Virginia Stadium is pretty basic. You got the stands, pretty even, about a maybe 35, 40 degree angle. I don't know my angle, so that sounds right. But if you look at Iowa's, it's not just an angle, it's a swoop. And that's why the noise gets trapped in there. It's not just a set angle. The stands actually curve. The higher you go, the more they curve. So that helps bounce the sound back down to the field.
Yes. Yes, and it's not always that way there. But when the crowd when they're packed in like they were Saturday, and the crowd's all jacked up like they were Saturday,
Yeah.
it can be that way. I mean, Ohio State found that out in 2016. Penn State found out. Penn State had 6 false starts, and I don't know what you do to change that, because it was just so loud. I guarantee you, there was no way Roberson's offensive line could hear him. No way. And people say, well, just go to a clap or go to the quarterback stamp and his feet or whatever. Understand this. When that sound is like that, that means he now he cannot do a audible. He can't vocally audibilize. And it restricts the center's calling out who the Mike linebacker is. The center's changing the blocking schemes. And when the left guard can't, and the right guard and the right tackle can't hear what the center is saying, you've got issues.
You know what they should do?
And as soon as the crowd figured out that they were impacting Penn State, well, then it just got worse, and you were just egging them on.
Oh yeah, they were like sharks that smelled blood. They just kind of went into a frenzy. I've been thinking about this, how to combat crowd noise for opposing teams. So with the quarterback, they have mics inside their helmets. They hear what the coach is saying, right? Well, how would you get the quarterback his audible to the rest of the team? I would say this. If you could somehow put some type of microphone kind of implanted in the face mask facing towards the quarterback's mouth, and have microphones in the other players' helmets, I think that would help out a lot. And I think technology is advanced enough to where they could do something like that. Make it embedded into the face mask. That way it's not sticking out or anything like that. And the face mask itself doesn't lose integrity, and it's on the bar that's right there where his mouth is. So it's not picking up everything else. It's just right there. I think that would do the job. What do you think about that? What do you think about that idea?
I understand where you're coming from, but I don't want to take the crowd out of the game. If the crowd can impact the game, good.
Yeah, I'm just saying, I agree with that 100%. I agree, but you know that coaches and teams and institutions and even in the NFL, they're going to do stuff to combat that. The quarterback already has a microphone or a headset, whatever you want to call it, speaker inside his own helmet where he hears the coach's voice. You can't tell me, 10, 15 years down the road, there's going to be something in the quarterback's helmet to where he can relay to the rest of the players. I think it's going to happen. I'm not saying I'm in favor of that. I love the crowd. Causing false starts, making the quarterback not hear. But they will combat that.
Well, I've been on the sidelines because I was there for the Iowa State game. I've now seen Iowa 4 times in person. I think they're absolutely for real. In the last 5 years, they have 13 more combined interceptions than anybody else in the country over the last 5 years. Their defense is for real, but I will say this. I think they will win the West and then lose to Ohio State in the Big 12, the Big 10 championship game. And if they were to win the Big Ten championship game, I don't think an Iowa can stay on the field with Georgia or with Alabama simply because they don't have the A, B, C, D, E, F, G
Jimmys and Joes
athletes and speed. They just don't have it. What Iowa does is they get you into a pig fight. They turn it into a wrestling match, and they play plain vanilla. And then once you start eating that vanilla and you're playing their game, they're better at that than you are at that. And Kirk Ferentz teams won't beat themselves. So if they can lull you to sleep and get you into that kind of a game, that's where they're going to win. I mean, look at this. 28, think about this. In this modern era, with these offenses, 28 consecutive games holding opponents under 25 points.
That's incredible.
Iowa won. Yeah, Iowa wants to play ugly. And as long as you get into an ugly game, you're in trouble. But somebody is going to take them out of that. Somebody will find a way to make them play fancy, and Iowa doesn't do fancy.
Yeah, let me ask you this before I let you go, okay? All right, let's say Georgia goes undefeated and Cincinnati goes undefeated. And let's say those are your two only undefeated teams, okay?
Okay.
Let's say Oregon wins out and they win the Pac-12, one-loss Pac-12 champion, okay? Then on the other side, Ohio State, they win out. They win the Big Ten one-loss champion. And Iowa's only loss is to Ohio State in the Big Ten championship, all right?
Okay.
Alabama gets to the SEC championship, one loss, but they lose to Georgia, but in a competitive game. Two-loss runner-up. Now, one more thing.
You're out.
Okay, I like it. But who fills those other two spots? Are you and I'll take it a step further. Kentucky, let's say they get beat by Georgia, which they will, but they win out. They don't get to the SEC championship, but they win out. Their only loss, a competitive loss, we'll say by 2 touchdowns on the road to Georgia. They finish the season with 1 loss. Who gets those last 2 losses? Here's your choices. 1 loss, Oregon Pac-12 champ, only lost to Stanford. 1 loss, Ohio State Big Ten champ, only lost to Oregon. 1 loss, Big Ten runner-up, Iowa. 1 loss only to Ohio State. And then we'll say Oklahoma is a 1-loss Big 12 champ. And then, of course, throw in there Kentucky.
Okay.
Who you got filling the spots? Of course, we have Georgia, and I would say Cincinnati would get in if they go undefeated, and Georgia's the only other undefeated team.
All right. I'm a big believer in head-to-head. I like head-to-head when all things else are considered equal.
Yep.
But an 11-1 Ohio State and an 11-1 Oregon, even though Oregon won, even though it was at the Horseshoe, is not the same thing. Because look at who Ohio State would have had to beat to be 12-1. Ohio State would have had to beat an undefeated Iowa. They would have had to beat Penn State. They would have had to beat Michigan. They would have had to beat Michigan State. They would have had to beat 4 top 10 teams. There's no way Oregon is going ahead of Ohio State in that situation.
So are you wait. So in that scenario, are you going to go ahead and lock in Ohio State? Are they taking a spot?
Yes, if they're a 1-loss Big Ten champion, Ohio State is in.
So now we have Georgia, Cincinnati, and Ohio State. Now go for the last spot.
Well, I'm going to go for the last 2 because Cincinnati, even though they're undefeated, they are not loved by the committee.
I agree with that.
And Cincinnati will need some help along the way. See, what Cincinnati needs is Cincinnati really, really needs Oklahoma to lose.
Yep. That was in the scenario too. That was in the scenario too. 1-loss Big 12 champ.
They need Oklahoma to lose. They need Notre Dame to keep winning. They need a convincing win over SMU. Cincinnati needs a lot of things. Now, you can say, hey, I love Cinderella. I mean, I love Cindy Nasty. I want the Bearcats to get in. But the committee doesn't want the Bearcats to get in.
Yep.
And the committee is going to look for any excuse, anything where they can go, well, they played them and this team did. They'll look for any reason to keep Cincinnati out. So I think you've got, in your scenario, I think you've got Georgia in, Ohio State in, Oklahoma in. The one place where I would take Cincinnati is if Cincinnati is if the committee is looking at a 4, and you've got a one-loss Oregon Pac-12 champion and an undefeated Cincinnati, maybe then. But I would be stunned if Cincinnati the best they're going to be is the 4. The best they're going to be is the 4, and that's with some help.
And let's say Notre Dame wins out and they're 1 loss. I think Notre Dame is out by default because they lost to Cincinnati. I think that would help Cincinnati. So
yes,
you'd be down to this: a 1-loss Pac-12 champ, Oregon, one loss, Big 12 champ Oklahoma, undefeated AAC champ Cincinnati, and let's not forget runner-up Kentucky, 11-1, only loss, competitive loss to Georgia.
Yeah, and then just to make it even crazier, if we're gonna do this and we're just gonna go absolutely insane, what the hell happens if Wake Forest does it?
Oh man, yeah.
You know, I'll tell you what. I'll let you go because I know you got other people who want to call. But just think about this. Think about this, Gold Blue. If any of these scenarios that we just talked about played out, think of how amazing and how exciting it's going to be for everybody to watch the New Year's Six Bowls. There are going to be a whole bunch of 1 or 2 loss really good, evenly matched teams in the New Year's Six Bowls. We could be in for a whole 7 or 8 games in a row where it's just crazy good.
You know what scenario I like? I like Oklahoma State. Let's say they run the table, get to Bedlam, and they beat Oklahoma. They go into the Big 12 championship undefeated, and then Oklahoma gets the revenge and beats them in the Big 12 championship. I would love to see that. That would be awesome.
Well, I will be in Ames in 2 weeks. This week, Iowa State's at Kansas State, but in 2 weeks, Oklahoma State has to come to Ames. I'll be a believer in them then. I think Iowa State, you look at Iowa State's under Matt Campbell, what they do in the last 3 or 4 Octobers. Don't sleep on. I'm not making any. I'm not trying to suddenly pump up Iowa State. That's not what I'm saying here.
It's truth,
but
though.
It's truth. Don't sleep on them. Don't sleep on them because they're still good enough to ruin somebody's season.
Yeah.
They're still good enough that one game they're capable of rising up and blowing it for somebody.
Oh yeah, I agree with that.
Hey, thanks for letting me call in, man. I'll drop into the comments section, and thanks to the comments section for being patient. We'll talk later.
Now, that was a good conversation. I appreciate you calling in. Man, when you get me going on chaos and who do you take in this situation, man, I will go all freaking day long. Like, that's one thing that I could talk about forever. I might do a video on that and really get people thinking. I'm going to put out one of those scenarios where you really got to rack your brain. Oh man, who would we put in there if this happened? Because it could happen. That's what kind of year we're having. Think about 2007. What if somebody told you at the beginning of 2007 that 80% of the number 2s will get beat in that year? You would have laughed at them. But that's what happened. That's what happened. So you can't never say never whenever it comes to college football. That's why I like to prepare for it, to know what direction people are thinking if that particular scenario were to go down. The Big 12. I like the Big 12 scenario where I know it's far-fetched, but you're on with Golden Blue, dude.
Hey, it's Sports Nerd.
What's going on, man? I knew you would call in. Didn't let me down. You answered the bell too. Hey, all the people that have the number to the call-in show, they're answering the bell. You want the number? You want to call in? All you got to do is email me. Tell me who you are, number you're calling from, and we will email you back the number to call. And Joey will put that on the screen. What's going on, bud?
Nothing much, man. It's been a while. It's been a few weeks, so a lot has happened since then. So
yeah.
What's the biggest? You guys are just talking about chaos in the for the CFP going forward. What is your take on for the chaos that could happen in the Big Ten East now having or the Big Ten having 5 teams in the top 10? Obviously, I think the most likely scenario happening, well, everybody, at least betting odds, would probably be Ohio State to still get there. But if we have a new blood coming out of the other 4 teams, who do you think is the most likely to make it there?
Penn State. Big time Penn State. I'm a big believer in Penn State. I know they just went on the road and lost to Iowa, but Iowa is number 2 in the nation. I never thought I would be saying that. They are number 2 in the nation, and that was a road game, and they only lost by 3 points, and it was because of their starting quarterback, not finishing the game. So, yeah, I think it's Penn State, and I think Penn State has a good shot to do that, honestly. Ohio State, I know they're playing better. People aren't wanting to play them now, but if anybody can knock off Ohio State in the horseshoe, it's Penn State. Michigan, I don't believe in them yet. They look better, but they struggled against Rutgers. You look at their record, yes, they're undefeated, but they haven't been a convincing undefeated. And then we jump over to Michigan State. I think Michigan State's a better team than Michigan, but their remaining schedule is absolutely brutal. That's why I don't think it'll be Michigan State. So out of the rest, I would take Penn State.
Even including Iowa, you think Penn State would get in over Iowa?
I don't know. I think Iowa's going to go undefeated in the West because the rest of their schedule is a laughingstock, to be honest with you. If they pick up a loss there, then they definitely didn't show up to a game. The question is, can they get to the Big Ten Championship after playing a bunch of lesser opponents and beat a team that's as good or better than them? I think they can, but I think the probability of it actually happening is actually lower than Penn State's chances. I really believe that, and I know the blowback's going to be, well, they just played Golden Blue, dude. Iowa and Penn State just played, and Iowa beat Penn State. Yes, but Penn State was controlling that game. Sean Clifford doesn't finish the game, and they only lose by 3. So I still think Penn State's the better team. I think Penn State is better than Iowa.
I do agree with you there. If Clifford was not knocked out, was it early in the second quarter, wasn't it? Or
I thought it was in the third quarter, but I couldn't.
It was early third quarter. Sorry, yeah. I apologize. I do agree. They were controlling that game, and it was on the cusp of getting 3 possessions there before Iowa finally punched it in for a touchdown and injured Clifford there. I think that would have gone a totally different way. Honestly, it could have been a 10, 14 point game.
Yeah.
I guess with Michigan, I don't know. It's just something about Penn State. Maybe it's their offense. I don't know. Their defense is obviously elite. They shut out Indiana a couple weeks ago, and then they held Iowa to 23 points. But
right.
I don't know, just their offense to me, I don't know. It just seems like eventually, if their quarterback didn't get injured, their play calling would bite them in the butt once again, like it has been the last 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
In crucial situations. I don't know. That's just my opinion. What I've seen, they're obviously an elite team this year. I just don't think they're the team, especially out of the East. The other 3 teams that are in the top 10. So. Well,
you also got to think about this. Sean Clifford, in my opinion, he's an elite coach. Besides last year, the COVID year, 10-win seasons. Double-digit win seasons. You go back to his Vanderbilt days, 9-4, 9-4. That's insane. And the reason I say Penn State is what I'm about to say as well. They're the only team, I think in the past, I know it's definitely the past 5 years. It might be the past 10 years. They're the only team out of the East besides Ohio State to win the Big Ten Championship.
No, Michigan State won in 2015.
Really?
Yeah, they went to the playoff that year, remember?
Yeah, you're right. Well, last 5 years. That's what I was going by then.
5 years, you're right.
I shouldn't have gone by 10 years. That was dumb. Last 5 years, though, it was Penn State.
You're correct.
Man, that seems forever ago. I can't believe it was 2015. Yeah, you're right. And they got obliterated by Alabama. What was it, 38-0, 31-0?
Yeah, 38-0. Derrick Henry ran all over them. The reason I remember that is being a Michigan fan. That's one of the darkest moments in history.
Was that the year with the crazy punt thing?
Yes.
My gosh, guys, if y'all haven't seen that play, you need to Google block punt Michigan State versus Michigan. I think the year will automatically pop up because it's searched so much. That is a play right there where exactly what needed to happen happened for Michigan State to win that game. If he just runs around and wastes the clock, Michigan wins. If he gets the punt off, Michigan wins. If he does anything other, if they tackle the Michigan State player before he reaches the end zone, Michigan wins. That I've never seen the exact ingredients for the other team to win on a final play, because I believe a field goal wouldn't have won it for Michigan State. I think they would have had to have scored a touchdown, and that's exactly what they did. So that was. I remember the announcer. Oh, he has trouble with the snap. That was crazy. I can see it in my head right now.
Yeah, as a Michigan fan, I remember watching that live and saying literally 15 seconds before they snapped the ball, I'm like, they don't need to punt it. They should take their quarterback, drop him an extra 3 yards, have somebody run a route and launch it as high as you possibly can. So it takes off. I think there's like 9 seconds left in the game. So even if it's incomplete, there's 2 seconds. They would have to kick like a 58-yard field goal.
Well, a field goal wouldn't have won it. A field goal wouldn't have won it. They had to score a touchdown. I think y'all were up by 4.
They're on like the 40-yard line, so.
Because y'all were up by 4, so they had to score a touchdown to win.
It was 23-21.
What was the final score on that?
27-23.
Oh, I thought y'all were up by 4. My bad.
No, we were only up by 2, and a field goal would have won it, but it would have been, like I said, it would have been like a 58-yard field goal from that same spot too.
I gotcha.
But yeah, not even once in a generation, once in a century type play. The odds.
Same thing with the kick six. I saw that one live too. That was incredible.
Which one?
The kick six, Auburn blocking Alabama's what was it, 60-yard field goal, something like that.
Yeah, 58, 59, whatever it was. Obviously, yeah, that's one of the greatest moments ever.
I was in a gas station, and he had it on the monitor. I say, I'm going to stick here for a minute and see if he makes his field goal. And what I saw, it wasn't a blocked field goal. It was a short field goal, and Chris Davis ran it back. That was insane. And the funny thing, you know what the funny thing is about that play? It never should have happened, but Nick Saban fought for that last second. They would have gone into overtime, but Nick Saban fought for that last second, and it came back to bite him right in the rear end.
Oh, as somebody that's not an Alabama fan, it was glorious to watch.
It was amazing. I've seen some of them. I am blessed to see some of the stuff that I've seen. The television era. I saw the blocked field goal Georgia Tech had on Florida State. I think it was 2014. Maybe it was later than that.
That was a week or two after the Michigan State block.
2015. Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, that was insane too. The announcer even lost his voice on that. That was hilarious.
Yeah, I think they're riding like a 29-game winning streak and they lost. So.
But the thing is about that, everybody knew that Florida State was going to lose in the regular season because they were good, but they definitely looked vulnerable. But it definitely wasn't Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech was not on my mind to knock them off as far as stopping their winning streak. But I believe, weren't they defending champs? And they were riding a big winning streak, and they just didn't look like they did the year before.
Yeah, they're, like I said, I think they're on a 29-game conference winning streak, which they were coming off their CFP appearance, and they got destroyed by Oregon. But yeah, that was a once in a lifetime moment too. There's been a lot of low key, middle or lower tier ACC teams that have upset really big ACC teams this decade. It's Syracuse and Clemson, obviously, in 2017. That comes to mind, and I think because of that game and because this game this week is played on a Friday night, a night road game, I think I had to take the spread, which is 14.
Yeah.
I don't think that honestly, I wasn't using any analytics with that. I was simply going by my gut. There's no way that's going to be a 14-point game.
Sometimes you got to go by that. But other things that popped in my head was the Bluegrass Miracle. I don't know if you remember that. That was a while back. That was whenever LSU that crazy pass to beat Kentucky at Kentucky. Even the players doused the coach too soon, so he had to go shake the winning coach's hand, all drenched in Gatorade. He took a Gatorade bath as a losing coach. That's gotta suck. And then Cordell Stewart launching like a 65, 70-yard Hail Mary. Man, off the top of my head, I think I've had like 8 or 9 once-in-a-lifetime moments. So I guess technically that's not once in a lifetime, but insanity, man. Even earlier, whenever we were talking about the kick six earlier in the year, Auburn had that miracle pass where it bounced off the dude's helmet right into his hands. That was a crazy year.
That year, yeah. Now that you think about it, there's been a lot of once-in-a-lifetime moments that Michigan has been on the wrong side of with this. Between the fateful September day in 2007 with the biggest upset ever.
Yeah.
The kicks, the fumble punt in 2015, the spot in 2016.
Yep.
You brought up Cordell Stewart in 1994, I think.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know what else there would be for this. I mean, Michigan's been on a lot of it. And of the really screwy finishes with stuff lately, man, I tell you. But anyway, I don't want to get too far off track with history stuff, even though that stuff was, amazing. So,
yes, it was.
Let's see. I was gonna think of something about. I think I said about the Big Ten, but I heard your last caller talking about the CFP and who would the 4 spots be if given Georgia and Cincinnati would go undefeated. And I think I have to agree with him that Cincinnati would have to be undefeated and win every game by at least 14, if not 21 points for them to get in. But at the same time, I do think if Oregon were to go 12-1 and win the Pac-12, which I don't think they will, I think Pac-12 is going to have a 2-loss champ. I think even then at 12-1, I think they would still take Cincinnati because the Pac-12, just like the ACC, has been really down this year.
Oh,
what are
yeah.
your thoughts?
And that's a bad loss. Stanford, Stanford is better than people realize, but right now they have 3 losses. I think they finished the season like 7-5, get to a bowl. That's still not that's a bad loss. That would give Ohio State a better loss, even though it was to Oregon, than Oregon, because they would have lost to Stanford. So it's a tricky situation. Here's my opinion, okay? Of course, Georgia's in. I would actually take Cincinnati, undefeated, AAC champ. You'd have the win over Notre Dame. I think Notre Dame wins out because if you look at the rest of their schedule, they could lose on the road to Stanford. That's the game that I'm really looking at. Southern Cal, they're trash. They have to go into South Bend. North Carolina, they're trash. They have to go into South Bend. And those were the 2 tricky games that I was thinking that Notre Dame could drop at home. Well, those 2 teams are trash. So, worst case scenario, Notre Dame ends up being a 10-2 team. That's a good win for Cincinnati.
It's a very good win for Cincinnati.
Yes, and in the Big 12, we could have Oklahoma slip up in the regular season and then win the Big 12. That's a one-loss Big 12 champ. They haven't looked great either. The Big 12 as a whole hasn't looked all that impressive other than, Baylor and Oklahoma State are better than usual. And I think Kentucky would still be in the conversation even as the runner-up in the SEC East at 11-1 with the win over Florida. And their only loss to Georgia, I still think that they would be in the conversation. And we all know that the playoff committee loves the SEC. If there's any way for the playoff committee to get 2 SEC teams in there, they're going to do it. So if what we say is going to come true, Alabama gets the SEC championship but loses to Georgia, that gives them 2 losses. Well, they're out. Well, Kentucky, not out. 1 loss, 11-1, only loss to Georgia. Georgia's in, dominating everybody. I think people are overlooking the value of Kentucky. I think they would definitely be in the conversation.
I think I'm gonna have to disagree with you on that one. I think Kentucky's the SEC. What is it? The SEC East scheduling is so much weaker than the West. I mean, I have a look at their strength of schedule right now. Kentucky's at 62. They're ranked 62nd in the country right now. And their biggest win, I mean, again, you'd say given they lose to Georgia this week, which is probably a given, they beat Florida, who was number 10 at the time, at home.
Right.
Those are the only two ranked teams currently that they play in their schedule. They play Mississippi State, Tennessee, at Vanderbilt, New Mexico State, and Louisville. Now, you tell me what other good win in their schedule do they have that would I say, yeah, they're one of the top 4 teams, no matter if they only lose one more game. One game.
Tennessee gets ranked and they beat Tennessee, and I do think Tennessee gets ranked.
So you would put them in over Cincinnati, who would have...
No. I wouldn't put them over Cincinnati. I'm talking about over a one-loss Oregon who plays in the weak Pac-12 and lost to Stanford, and Iowa, who gets to the Big 10 championship, but loses, and most of their schedule is caked too. And given the love affair that the playoff committee has with the SEC, if all those circumstances happen, I'm not saying Kentucky's in. I just think they're definitely not out. They would definitely be considered. They're definitely in the conversation.
True.
And then there's Wake Forest in the ACC. I just don't have faith in Wake Forest going undefeated. Of course, if they go undefeated, they'll be in the conversation. The ACC is so down, and Clemson has carried the banner, and they have the brand. Wake Forest does not have the brand. I mean, their stadium holds 40,000 people. If that. I think it's less than that. I think it's 30-some thousand. One of the smallest stadiums in the nation. I don't see the playoff committee. I think the playoff committee would definitely put Cincinnati in over Wake Forest. Wake Forest, their brand is trash right now. They would get in a high-end New Year's Six bowl.
Yeah, I think. Well, they would have to because they'd be the ACC champ.
Right.
But I think no matter what Wake Forest does this year, there's no way. I mean, look at it. You go 12-0 or even 13-0, which again, that's a given that they win the next 7 games of their schedule in the ACC, which is nothing's a given. I mean, Clemson lost to NC State, so
right.
I mean, it's the ACC is too. They're even. But they're too even in, down the rankings. If they're, like the Big Ten East, they're all even in the top 10, that'd be different. But
right.
Your highest ranked team now is Wake Forest, which is what, 16?
Only ranked team, mate. No. NC State at 22. There's only 2 ACC ranked teams. I think the only way an undefeated Wake Forest team gets in there is if there's multiple 2-loss Power 5 champs. I mean, I'm talking about a 2-loss Oklahoma, a 2-loss Oregon, a 2-loss Ohio State. I mean, there would have to be multiple 2-loss conference champions for them to get in. And maybe even Cincinnati would have to slip up.
Yeah, I can agree with that because Wake Forest, I mean, man, their non-conference is super weak as well with Old Dominion, Norfolk State, and Army. I mean, geez, the best teams they play are NC State, Clemson. Those are at the end of the year. So they haven't played a ranked team currently. So I agree. I think the ACC they would have a lot to happen ahead of them because it's just, again, how weak they are overall, and just I don't know. It's just I don't see the ACC getting to the CFP this year because Clemson was obviously everybody's pick, and then they fall off the map. They fell out of the rankings right now. So I think the Big Ten. I don't know if they might even have a 2-loss champion, even though a team that Iowa might get there undefeated might lose. So I don't know. The Big Ten East is going to weed itself out here before the second week of November because
mathematically it has to.
Well, all the big teams haven't played each other yet.
Right.
Like you said earlier, Michigan State still has the gauntlet of their schedule, and they still got to play Penn State, Ohio State, and Michigan within the next 5 weeks. So, and then of course the big game between Michigan and Ohio State at the end of the year. So. I think no matter what we see, I think this is just going to be a really exciting finish. And I agree with your last caller as well. This is going to be some really good matchups in these New Year's Six. No matter if there is 1-loss, 2-loss, maybe 1 or 2, 3-loss teams are there. It's going to set up for a dramatic close.
Let me ask you this. Yvette Stower said something interesting. What if the unthinkable happened? What if both Cincinnati and Wake Forest... this is not happening. Let me be clear. This is not happening. But what if the unthinkable happened? Cincinnati and Wake Forest both get in. They end up playing each other for the national championship. I'm not asking for a score pick. I'm not asking who you think would win that game. I'm asking, do you think that would be an all-time lowest rated national championship as far as viewership, or an all-time highest rated watched national championship?
Oh no, I think it would be on the low end. I mean, I'm going to base this solely off of what I saw in 2014. UConn Huskies and Kentucky Wildcats, 7 and 8 seed in the NCAA final. They had the lowest viewership in the history of the tournament for a final, and those are two blue blood college basketball teams.
Yeah.
So if Wake Forest and Cincinnati, who again, not like Cincinnati isn't bad, but they haven't had anywhere near success as the big teams, and Wake Forest, who has won one conference title since 1940, if those two get to the national title, I think we might see the worst rating. This might be worse than like a Thursday night game, honestly.
All right. I'm going to ask you to do me a favor, okay?
Go ahead.
So I'm going to have my live show, if you have the time, I'm going to have my live show on Saturday night, okay?
Yeah.
We'll see the results of Saturday's game, so we'll have to factor that in, okay? So what I'm going to do it too. Me and you, we're going to come up with the potential matchups. Number one, it'll go by current rankings, okay? So we'll try to figure out, if the postseason happened right now, I want to see what the playoffs would look like and the New Year's Six Bowl matchups. I want to try to get a glimpse into the future, into the potential matchups in the playoffs and the New Year's Six Bowl. Because I'm telling you, this year could be not just the playoffs, the New Year's Six Bowl could have some of the greatest matchups ever. I mean, look at last year. Colorado, was it Colorado that made a New Year's Six? I believe it was.
No, it was UNC and A&M, Oregon, and played Iowa State.
Yeah, it was forgettable. I think this year could be an all-time great. Who did Colorado play? Didn't they play Texas? And got smashed. But I don't know if that was a New Year's Six. For some reason, I was thinking that was a Cotton Bowl. I could be wrong.
I can't tell you.
But anyways, I think this year could be one of the greatest postseasons in a while. So let's do that and see what kind of matchups we can come up with. Can you do that?
Sure, man. I'll set something up before the weekend, and then if there's upsets or teams losing, I'll interchange them accordingly. But I'll try to come up with the best, most logical scenarios.
Okay, and remember, we got to keep bowl tie-ins in play on that as well.
I'll try to stick as closely to the rules as possible, because I'm not as keen with that stuff as you are. I try to just go off of ranking and stuff, but I'll try to.
Okay, all right. Well, we'll see what we can come up with. Good call, man.
Sounds good, man.
All right, and make sure to call in. I'm going to call you out. All right.
What time you going to live on Saturday?
I'll probably go live around 10. That way we'll know more sure about the games.
I got you. Yeah, I've taken a new turn on my channel. I'm just going to do top 10, top 25 lists. I'm not doing any more live reviews anymore. It's not worth it. So,
I got you.
Yeah, I'll call in and see how much fun we can have.
Oh yeah, man. I look forward to it. Good call in, man.
All right, man. Have a good one.
Have a good one, bud. I know that call kind of got away from me, but man, I really got into that conversation because the potential matchups for the New Year's Six and the playoffs it's going to be crazy. And somebody mentioned that Ohio State is projected to play Wake Forest in the New Year's Six Bowl. I don't like that matchup, but I think it would be interesting. I'm going to have to go back and look at ESPN and see who their match. I keep forgetting to look at that because they do they do bowl projections, and it's interesting to look at. I don't start doing my bowl projections until the actual playoff rankings themselves come out. So we'll see. Anyways, appreciate everybody that stopped by. Appreciate everybody that called in. We'll keep this contest thing going. Anybody that super chats $5 or more, you will be entered into a contest where the prize will be $50 worth of Tri-State Wood Sketch merchandise. He can do pretty much anything. You can get a bunch of small things that add up to $50. He does family photos. He does your team logos. Any type of photo on any type of piece of wood. And what's especially nice is Christmas coming up. Somebody you're like, I have no idea what to get them. This is a great gift. And also, don't forget about the Golden Blue Dude. The Golden Blue Dude hoodie that I'm throwing in there. It's going to be part of the prize as well. So anybody that super chats $5, I'll talk to Joey and see what the deadline's going to be. But every live show, every time you super chat $5, you are entered into the contest, and it'll be a live drawing. So you'll see your name, and I'll put it into a hat. We'll swish it around, and I'll literally pick it out in front of you for the winner. So you win $5 worth of stuff from Tri-State Wood Sketch, and then the Golden Blue Dude hoodie. So there you go. But for this live show, I'm going to wrap it up. This was a great live show. Great calls, great comments. Appreciate everybody stopping by and supporting the channel. And don't forget to tell your friends about Golden Blue Dude. Videos every single day. It is the home of at least one college football video every single day. No other channel does that. I don't think any channel, period. Not just college football. I'll have to do some research on that. But definitely college football YouTube channel. Nobody does it. So there you go. At least I have that niche. Y'all have a good night, and we'll see you again on Saturday night, and we'll have Sports Nerd in with, and we'll try to come up with some matchups to see what the postseason could look like. It's going to be an interesting live show. Anyways, have a good night, and keep your eyes out for tomorrow's videos as well. Probably more than one, by the way. Probably more than one. Y'all have a good night.